Okay, let's try that again. Who's excited to see some animals? There we go. That was better. I believe you a little bit more now. Now, as we do cross over this beautiful Bronx over here, we will be transported into Asia as if by magic. Now, Asia is the continent with the largest number of deer species, and we're going to begin to see that deer diversity right here in our very first meadow, known as Kanha Meadow. Here in Kanha Meadow, we have 3 different species of deer, 1 species of antelope, and plenty of peafowl to go around. If you look up and to the left over there on that hill, you might be able to catch a glimpse of some golden honey-colored deer laying down against that fence line. We'll catch up to some more of them in just a few moments, but those guys are Barasinga deer. Barasinga get their name because Barasinga means 12 tined in the Hindi language, which refers to the males having anywhere between 12 and 14 points on their antlers. But as we're making our way over here and you see these white cream-colored deer right in front of us here, these guys are Bactrian deer. They're actually brand new to us here at the Bronx Zoo, and this is their first season on exhibit with us. But it does look like we're going to catch up to the rest of them on the other end of their meadow today. So we're going to listen to our keeper, Michelle, tell us just a little bit more about Kanha Meadow.
Hi, my name is Michelle. I'm part of the Wild Asia Keeper team. We call this area Kanha Meadow, where we care for about 40 Barasinga deer, 15 axis deer, 10 black buck, and a pair of muntjac. We start our day by checking on all the animals, making sure they are healthy, behaving normally, and safe. Sometimes, fawns and calves are born overnight. Newborns are given a neonatal exam, which includes weighing, vaccination, and tagging for identification purposes. While the animals are in the meadow, we prepare their nighttime holding areas so that they have a safe and clean place to spend the night.
And like she said, we'll catch up to our axis deer and our black buck antelope around the other end of their field today. However, this next animal that we're going to see on our tour was actually labeled extinct in nature, but has since been brought back from extinction. And I'm not talking about the T-Rex from Jurassic Park, I'm talking about our Mongolian wild horses. Also known as the Przewalski horse, these guys were labeled extinct in nature in the 1960s.
Look at small Mongolian wild horses. Look at the horse we are. Let's see.
Now, as we're all getting some good views of these guys here, you might notice a couple of key differences between them and the normal domestic horses we're used to seeing. Some of those being that these guys are a little bit shorter, a little bit stockier, and they are rocking an awesome mohawk as opposed to a mane. They're also missing their forelock, which is that piece of hair that covers the front of their foreheads. Now, like I said earlier, though, they were labeled extinct in nature in the 1960s. However, you could still find them in select zoos across the world. One of those being here at the Bronx Zoo, as we have exhibited these guys since 1902. We've also had over 50 foals born here at the Bronx Zoo. And now, thanks to successful breeding and conservation efforts by us and many others around the world, we've been able to successfully return these beautiful horses back into their natural habitats. Now, as we are making our way on up the hill here, we did just meet our whole group of lovely ladies back there, as we do actually only exhibit an all-female herd here at the Bronx Zoo. But as we're making our way further into their exhibit here, you might notice that we do like to give our animals lots and lots of room to roam around, play, and graze, as we're just now in the back half of our Mongolian wild horse exhibit. So we're going to listen to Jonathan Slatt, our Russia and Northeast Asia coordinator, tell us just a little bit more about our horses.
I'm Jonathan Slatt, and I'm the Russia and Northeast Asia coordinator for the Wildlife Conservation Society. I believe that wildlife has a place on this earth, and my job is to find practical solutions that allow people and wildlife to thrive together. There's Przewalski's horse went extinct in the wild in the 1960s. On a recent trip to Kazakhstan, I thought about the ongoing and successful efforts in that country to bring these horses back to the Central Asian steppe. The world needs happy stories, to watch the impossible become possible, and to see hope restored. That's what's happening today for Przewalski's horse.
Now, as we're making our way into our next field here, we're going to be on the lookout for our next 2 species, which is our gaur and our brow antler deer. Now, our gaur are going to be pretty difficult to miss, as they are big, brown, and have amazingly huge horns. They are the largest wild cattle in all of Asia. However, it does look like they're on the other end of their field, so we're going to catch up in just a few moments. But if you look straight towards the back fence line, on the right-hand side of us right now, all the way on the back fence line there, you'll see some of our brow antler deer laying down. Now those guys get their names from their very uniquely shaped antlers that look like two eyebrows sticking from the front of their foreheads. Now, unfortunately, we won't be able to see those unique eyebrows here today, as every year deer do shed their antlers, and every year they regrow them. So all of our deer here in Asia are currently in the process of regrowing those antlers. But you might see some studs and stripes where they're growing in. Now, if you look over to the right-hand side over here, you'll see our gaur laying down over there. Keep a close eye, as we do have two baby gaur with us today. One is just about 6 weeks old, and the other is just about 6.5 weeks old. But our gaur here grow to a very impressive size of weighing about 2,000 pounds, standing at 6 feet high and 10 feet long. That size makes it very, very easy for them to defend themselves against almost any kind of predator they may face in the wild, including a tiger, which we're going to see next.
Tiger next. Nice tiger.
Just remain seated for me. Now, as we make our way on up to our tiger exhibit here, you might notice you're hearing some sounds coming from the concrete jungle behind us as opposed to the Asian one in front of us. It's very easy to forget that the Bronx Zoo is situated in the heart of an urban area, and we have the Bronx River Parkway right behind us. But that's exactly why we built this wooden fence right here. We put it up to keep those loud noises out and away from our tigers to make them feel safer and more at home. Now, tigers are solitary animals, so we will only be seeing one on exhibit today. I would like to remind everyone to stay seated as we do so, as we are just now coming over the top of our tiger exhibit. Now, tiger stripes do make it very, very easy for them to blend into their surroundings, so we're going to see if we can spot him here today.
Oh, there he is.
Where?
I do believe I might have seen him, but we're going to see if he's back there. Yes, there he is. He's laying down behind this big bush right over there. We'll get a better view once we get a little bit up over this way. But we are meeting Josie today. Josie is an Amur tiger, also known as a Siberian tiger. So he's one of the larger tigers that we do exhibit here in Wild Asia. However, his coat colors are just a little bit duller than our Malayan tiger we also have here in Wild Asia. He's going to be laying down right in the center there.
Oh, هناك.
Where? Anywhere.
Now, tiger stripes are actually just like fingerprints, as they are unique to each tiger. So you'll never find two sets of stripes the exact same. But as we do begin to wave goodbye to Josie back there, we're entering the back of our gaur and brow antler deer field here. Where I'm not sure that we're going to be able to get another view of these guys back here right now. But if you do come back later in the day, our gaur tend to make their way towards the top of this hill and coming down. Now we're also entering the back of our Kanha meadow where we started today's journey at. We're going to see if we can spot our deer and antelope. If you look right over here towards the left and you see these golden honey-colored deer laying down together, those guys are more of our Barasinga deer, but if you look right over on the right-hand side and you see the guys' wiggly horns, those guys are black-bug antelopes, but the guys laying next to them, those guys are axis deer. The axis deer are the ones that are a little bit lighter tan, and they do have spots on them. As our axis deer are one of the few deer in existence who do get to keep their spots for life. And our black bug antelope are sexually dimorphic, meaning the males and females can look like two completely different species. But as we do round this bend, we're approaching the bamboo thicket, and that bamboo thicket is home to our babarusa. Babarusa means pig deer in the Malay language, which is quite fitting considering they do look like a pig, but they have tusks that can resemble antlers. Now, in our first field, we're looking for Linus. He's walking around this field here. Now, these guys are dark gray in color, and they're a little bit smaller, so they're sometimes harder to spot. However, if you had any trouble finding those guys, don't worry, because you'll have no trouble at all spotting our next animal on the tour, the largest land mammal, our Asian elephant.
Elephant. Where's the elephant, Dion? Where's the elephant? You see the elephant?
The lovely lady we're meeting today is Miss Patty. Now, Patty is over 50 years old, weighing in at just around 10,000 pounds. And to keep her wonderful figure in shape, she does have to eat about 200 pounds of hay and drink about 60 gallons of water a day.
Elephant! Look at them. Sorry.
Our elephants here at the Bronx Zoo do really love to dig, which is why you might see that hole right in the center there that they've been working on for a while. But our keepers do tend to put out some sand piles for them to dig through. And we do take very, very good care of them here at the Bronx Zoo, as they do receive weekly pedicures and baths.
They like to dig.
Now you might have noticed it does not have tusks, and that's because she is an Asian elephant, and only the male Asian elephants will grow tusks, whereas the females will not. Like the African elephant, where both the males and the females will grow tusks. But as we do begin to wave goodbye to Miss Patty back there, we're going to be saying hello to Miss Penny. I believe she's going to be on the other end of her field. Now, Penny is one of our Indian rhinoceros. She is an Indian rhinoceros, which means she does only have one horn, as opposed to the southern white rhinos over at the zoo center who do have two horns. Over there, they are more of a herding animal as well, so you might see them in a group. Whereas over here, Penny is similar to our tigers in the fact that she is solitary. Now, once we're able to get a good view of her, you might notice that on her face she has some white stuff. That white stuff is actually sunscreen. As Penny is a very sensitive girl, the keepers have to put sunscreen on her face every morning before they bring her outside. And as she's standing out of her mud wallow right now, which just means you'll be able to see that she does have some mud on her. And rhinos often coat themselves in mud to protect their skin from the sun and from insects. Because even though rhinos do look like they are armor plated, it couldn't be further from the truth, as it's just the way their skin folds over. So they may seem tough, but they're actually quite sensitive.
Look at the dinosaurs.
Now we've had over 11 baby rhinos born here at the Bronx Zoo. And for all my moms on board the train, our mama rhinos do remain pregnant for up to 16 months, giving birth to a baby weighing up to 100 pounds. Now we are going to listen to just a little bit more about some of the different rhino species we do like to try and help save out in the wild.
Yep. The rhinos you see here are Indian rhinos. We work with habitats all over the world that are homes to rhinos. Here is a note from our field office in Sumatra, Ed Bulan, who works with the Sumatran rhino. Sumatran rhinos are the smallest of the world's rhinos, and they are considered critically endangered.
My name is Bulan Pusparini, and I'm the Species Conservation Specialist for WCS Indonesia program. We carried out an island-wide survey of the last wild population of Sumatran rhinoceros in Indonesia. With so many unknowns on how to manage Sumatran rhinos in the wild or captivity, our studies showed definitively that we must protect them at source. The cost of doing nothing could be the extinction of the species, and I can't imagine that.
Now, as you guys might have noticed, we've entered our next area here, which is home to our sandbar deer and our nilgai antelope. Now, it does look like these guys are going to be on the other end of their field today, so we're going to catch up to them as well. But just so you guys are able to tell the difference between the two of them once we do spot them, our sandbar deer are going to be the darker of the two. They're going to be a darker chocolatey brown in color. They might look like they're going a little bit bald, and that's because they have shed their winter coats and they're regrowing their summer coats. They're also in the process of regrowing those antlers just like the rest of our deer here in Asia, so you might see some stubs, spikes, or even half-grown antlers. Now our nilgai antelope are the lighter tan of the two. They have a black and white stripe around their hoofs, which kind of resemble black and white socks. They also have two white dots on their cheeks and a white rump. Nilgai does mean blue bull in the Hindi language, which refers to the males having a bluish coat. However, here at the Bronx Zoo, we do only exhibit an all-female herd, so we won't be seeing those blue bulls today. But if we do look straight back as we're making our way over here in between the two tree islands, all the way back to the fence line,
you'll be able to see some of our sandbar deer and young antelope. Our sandbar do blend in very, very well back there, so you're going to have to look a little bit harder. But we do have our nilgai on the outside over here on the right-hand corner. And you might be able to catch a glimpse of our sandbar from the left over here. Sandbar deer and our nilgai antelope are two of the largest deer and antelope in all of Asia. However, as we're making our way into our next field here, we're going to be on the lookout for the smallest deer in Asia, which is the Chinese tufted deer. The Chinese tufted deer are very small, weighing only up to 40 pounds. They're a dark brownish gray in color, and they like to hide in the leaves towards the back. I do believe we have a couple actually laying down back there right now. There's one laying down right over there.
Where is it?
Oh, I guess I mistaken. But there's definitely one laying down over there by the rocks. He's on the right-hand side of the rocks over there. But if we were able to get a better view of one of our males, you would have seen that they do have canines that grow to 2 centimeters in length, giving them the nickname the vampire deer. Now as we're making our way back over the Bronx River here, we know that many captive animals call the Bronx Zoo their home, but many wild animals also call the Bronx Zoo their home, and this river plays a very important part in that. This river provides habitats for different ducks, turtles, fish, geese, migratory birds, and even an osprey or a hawk now and then will come down and scoop up some dinner. Now as we're entering our next field here, if you look straight ahead of us, entering at that tree, and you see that guy standing on top of the tree, that is one of our markhor. But if you see the guy laying down at the base of the tree, that is one of our Himalayan tar. These guys up here are more of our markhor with the big, beautiful spiral horns. The male's horns can grow up to 3 feet, while the female's horns can grow up to about a foot length. The males do also have a long beard, while the females have a goatee. Now our Himalayan tar, as you might have noticed back there, they do look very, very similar to our markhor. However, the biggest difference is that their horns are shorter and go straight back as opposed to curling. Their coat's a little bit shaggier and a little bit darker in color. They also have a dark stripe down their neck and back. Now both the Himalayan tar and the markhor can jump up to 6 feet high without a running start, and they've been known to trees so that they can reach the freshest leaves. They also have rubber-like cores in the center of their hooves, which makes rock climbing very, very easy for them. Similar to if we were to wear a hiking boot to go rock climbing. And both the markhor and the Himalayan tar are both distant relatives, wild goat. But as we're making our way up over here, passing this big giant tree here, if you look down straight just past it, you'll see Linus, our red panda. He's laying down in his tree nest right there.
Red Panda. I don't know the term. Where, Filipino?
And if you look over the top of the rocks here, you'll be able to see one more of our male markhor with the very large spikes. But nowadays we do know that the red panda and the giant panda are not as closely related as we previously thought, even though they do both share the same name and both love bamboo. Our red pandas, however, are more closely related to skunks, weasels, and raccoons than they are to the giant panda. If you guys do want to see more red pandas, I'd recommend checking out our Himalayan Highlands exhibit, where you can also see some of our snow leopards. But as we round this bend, our journey is unfortunately coming to an end, and I'd like to let you guys know that this summer the books of Eric Carle have been coming to life here at the Bronx Zoo, and it'll only last until tomorrow, so these are the last 2 days to go and enjoy Eric Carle's World of Wildlife. We're doing performances, dancing, music, activities, and puppet shows all around the Bronx Zoo, each one featuring a different story and taking you on a fun, safe, and leisurely exploration of the very hungry caterpillar over in the giraffe corner, the very busy spider in Astor Court, brown bear, what did you see over in the grizzly corner, and the artist who painted a blue horse also in the grizzly corner. So I hope you guys go and enjoy the last couple days of Eric Carle's World of Wildlife here with us. But if you do want to see more tigers, I'd recommend checking out Tiger Mountain. As well as I'd also recommend looking at Jungle World, which is just outside the Monorail exit to the left. Over there you'll see otters, birds, monkeys, and even a leopard. You'll also learn how humans have impacted the rainforests.
Now we are going to be making very needed, as this is not our final destination. So much for joining us here today in Wild Asia. I hope you enjoyed the tour, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day here at the beautiful Bronx Zoo or wherever else your day may take you. And I hope to see you all again sometime soon.